Coming up, locals petition Ipswich Council objecting to a proposed new public loo in Spring Lake Park, while another petition to expand pool hours gets the thumbs down. Advisory committee to get non-council members. City Heart consultation looks at the bigger picture. Change of meeting date for committees in August. And Boxflat's 54th anniversary. Mayor Teresa Harding joins the show after the July meeting of Ipswich City Council. It's Friday, July 31, 2026, and I'm Allan Roebuck. Welcome to Ipswich Today. This podcast acknowledges traditional owners and their connection to lands and waters we share. Ipswich Today is supported by Kinetics, people-powered web hosting trusted by Australian businesses since 1999. Thanks for speaking with Ipswich Today, Mayor Harding.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on, Allan.
The meeting started considering a petition against proposed public toilets in Spring Lake Park. Now, I found this one interesting because the petitioners mention Montello Circuit, but that's a street adjacent to Montello Park on the other side of Spring Lake. Are they referring to that area or what is actually called Spring Lake Park, do you know?
Look, I found the same when I looked at the map. It's the Spring Lake Park is where we're looking at doing it. And It's an unusual one as well because we normally get people petitioning for additional infrastructure, not proceed. So, look, we received it. It was unanimous to receive it. We've sent it back to council and we'll see what the advice is.
Well, while on the subject of petitions, council's response to the Rosewood Pool petition calling for year-round operation was denied, and there were some fairly solid reasons there in the report.
Yeah, look, the Rosewood Aquatic Centre is very popular. It's been there since 1966 and in 2002, Council endorsed an aquatics facilities plan and we know that the upgrade would cost about $5 million. But look, back in 2023, we actually did a trial to see what the demand would be if we did open it for longer. And back then in March in 2023, we had 3,922 visits. And in April, we kept it open, the heating, and it was just 310 visits. So there wasn't much demand, but it's a huge cost to upgrade the infrastructure to actually heat it. So at this stage, it's not a no forever, but we know we have to do something in the future, but it's just too expensive at the moment. And as was discussed in the council meeting as well, the main users of this, the schools and so on haven't requested it either. So, yeah. Okay,
fair enough. There was good discussion about the Multicultural Advisory Committee and approval to bring on external members. What form will that take?
Yeah, look, none of our advisory committees have external members. It is permitted under the regulation, so it's a new step for us. So we're going out on Friday, the 31st of July, and that expression of interest is open till Sunday, the 23rd of August. So if you have a background in multiculturalism or you're part of the multicultural community, we'd love to hear from you. And I guess we'll work with those people to see if they want to serve 1, 2 or 3 years. And it's a volunteer role, and we're just looking forward to having people with some real life experience that will assist us.
There's a couple of good projects on Shape Your Ipswich at the moment. One is the City Heart project, and that covers a fairly wide scope. Streetscaping in Brisbane Street, possible expansion of the Ipswich Art Gallery, which is a big one. Consultation closes this Sunday. What is Council hoping to achieve with this period of public consultation?
Look, we were really pleased that we applied for an Australian government grant and received $3.8 million for the Urban Precincts and Partnerships program. And in that, we're looking at 5 parts of the Ipswich Central Heart. One is the expansion of the Ipswich Art Gallery, the redevelopment of the Ipswich Civic Centre, the development of the Cultural Hub, which is that Darcy Doyle Place and Nicholas Street, a streetscape refresh of Brisbane Street, especially the top of town, and a connection to the Ipswich City Centre bikeway. So that was stage 1 of that grant, and we're getting community consultation, and there's been a lot of pop-ups that the council have done as well. It will make sure that those projects are actually ready for additional grants as well. So I'm looking forward to the feedback from people. People are very passionate about our CBD. So I'm very grateful to the Australian government for the opportunity to actually spend a bit of time and do some really great planning here.
So yeah, just to be clear, it's all about planning, talking and ideas, but no funding has been allocated for any of the ideas yet.
It's more than that. It's planning. It's actually design work and planning. So it's quite extensive planning and technical designs as well. So it makes it ready, I guess, investment ready.
Every year, Council puts forward a couple of motions to the local government annual conference. This year, they were fairly dry subjects, but important because it affects Council's bottom line. Both of them do. Talk us through what the Council is going to move.
Yeah, there were two motions we looked at today, and we'll go to the LGAQ conference in October. And we've asked for the state government infrastructure charging framework to change. At the moment, we can only charge based on actual buildings. Yet we have a lot of industrial areas here where a lot of outdoor processing occurs, whether it's composting, waste disposal, landfill, outdoor depots. Councillor Tully talked about even, a golf driving range. So we're looking at if we could actually charge some infrastructure charges on those areas, especially those businesses like landscaping businesses. Well, they do have a lot of trucks. So there's a lot of wear and tear on council infrastructure, but we don't get much money in regards to maintaining that. The second motion was to ask for increased funding from the federal government in regards to citizenship ceremonies. A few years ago, we were only doing less than 400 citizenship ceremonies each year. This year, we'll have over 4,000 citizenship ceremonies, and probably the next year or two, we'll go to 7,000 citizenship ceremonies. Yet the funding that we receive from the federal government for that has not increased whatsoever. So it's a huge sort of cost on council. We love doing it. It's a wonderful ceremony, but we've had to do a lot of streamlining, and we're just sort of asking to be fairly, compensated for running those services.
The July meeting was a relatively short one until the end of the agenda when Councillor Tully moved to suspend standing orders. What happened there?
Yeah, so he's asked, rather than having their meeting on Thursday, the 13th of August, if we could move it to the 11th of August, just 2 days earlier, just for a few things that are coming up. And there were no objections, and the CEO was okay with that, so we'll have that meeting. It was a committee meeting, not a council meeting, and we'll just have that 2 days early.
And then there were closed sessions. The first one moved by Councillor Madsen. What was that one about?
Yeah, Councillor Madsen asked to suspend standing orders and to discuss, and the motion that he put forward was that Council consider taking action with regard to potential decisions of the Department of State Development, Infrastructure and Planning, and the confidentiality was around being a local government budget matter. So we did go into closed session. I think we spent about an hour, Allan. We did discuss a Queensland government matter, so it's actually not Council's to share, and it's currently confidential, and should it become a public matter, we'll be more than happy to discuss it.
And then there was a suspension of standing orders by Councillor Jim Madden re the closing or the possible closing of the Amberley post office. Why was Council so involved, and why was there so much discussion about this?
Council received a letter on the 5th of June outlining that the Amberley LPO, or the licensed post office on the RAF base, is going to close on the 28th of August. Councillor Madden has had a fair bit of feedback from the community, so he wanted to bring it up and see if we could write. So we'll write a letter to the two ministers, the Minister for Finance and the Minister for Communications in Canberra, asking them to keep that open.
While we're recording this on the 30th, which was the Council meeting day, Mayor Harding, it'll actually be published on the 31st, which is Friday, yes. And it's the 54th anniversary of Box Flat, with another memorial service to take place. Yes, look, I've attended all of them, and they're very well attended. Box Flat was the largest mining disaster, certainly in Queensland at the time, and and at the time, most families knew someone or someone in their family was impacted by the deaths of these miners. So I think that 54 years on, and our community still comes together in solidarity and has quite a beautiful ceremony held by the Ipswich Historical Society, is a testimony to our community, I think. Yes, I've attended quite a few in the past. It's a very solemn and moving ceremony. Something on the flip side of that is the Colours of Ipswich Multicultural Festival. That'll be happening in Tulma Place on Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Council's not too involved in this one. It's been very much an organic organisation that's come together to make it happen. No, this is not a council festival at all. Like many festivals in Ipswich, we have our 5 set festivals. So this is a festival that Councillor Augustine and some community members are putting on, and they've
gone through the proper process for grants and so on, but it will be in Doyle Place. I believe there's about 70 stalls that will be there. There'll be live performances. She talked about not just, I guess, multicultural stands, but she said there's going to be a sports alley. So there's a few things from, I think, the Brisbane Lions and Ipswich FC and quite a few sporting clubs there as well. So it's the first one. I think it's fantastic, and hopefully we have wonderful weather and free parking on Saturday. And I hope we see lots of people come out.
It certainly sounds like a big affair and a great day for all the family. We'll just finish up, Mayor Harding, on this one. You did send me a response about this a couple of weeks ago on why there was no committee meetings this month and only the council meeting. Can you expand upon the thinking behind that to have a mid-year break when it hasn't happened previously?
Yeah, when we set the calendar at the end of the calendar year, and it was proposed by council officers to not have a committee meeting in July. I think there's a lot of work that gets done, especially internally in the organisation, in council, when it comes to the budget. And so by not having no committee meetings does reduce some of the administration, and all the matters come to the July council meeting. So that's the first time I think this council's ever done that, and we'll probably do it again next year as well. I think it's worked quite well, especially I think, we do have a pretty good team in council that I think worked really hard to deliver a really great budget.
And on that note, we'll leave it there. Thanks again for speaking with Ipswich Today.
Thank you very much, Allan.
And that wraps up episode 520. As usual, don't forget to check out the handy links in the show notes. Ipswich Today is supported by Kinetics, people-powered web hosting trusted by Australian businesses since 1999. This podcast is also listener-supported. Please make a once-only gift or regular donation to help keep it online. Visit ipswichtoday.com.au and click Donate. Follow and stream where you get podcasts, including the iHeart app, or play Ipswich Today on smart speakers. This is Allan Roebuck. Thank you for listening. Enjoying Ipswich Today? Please share the love on your socials.